The sound of her heels against the floor echoed like drumbeats in the vast emptiness of the dressing room. Each step brought her closer to the heart of the building, where secrets whispered from the walls and dreams flickered like dying embers in the dusty windows. At the very end, behind a heavy velvet curtain, a single spotlight illuminated a full-length mirror. It was here that transformations occurred, where confidence was forged, where hearts both hardened and shattered. Before entering, she straightened her crimson dress, smoothing out the wrinkles, like creases in a map leading to uncharted territories. Taking a deep breath, she pushed aside the curtain. As the light hit her face, her reflection stared back, eyes wide and uncertain. Who was that girl in the mirror? Was she merely an actress pretending to be someone else, or was she truly becoming the character she portrayed? When she heard the orchestra tuning their instruments, her heart pounded in her chest. It was a rhythm that echoed the frantic beat of wings trapped within her ribs. Her hands trembled slightly as she reached for the microphone stand, its cold metal pressing against her palm. This was her moment, the culmination of countless hours spent reciting lines, molding her emotions into the perfect balance of pain and power. But something unexpected was stirring within her, a force she couldn't quite understand. A strange calm settled over her, erasing the jitters and leaving only a quiet determination. With a final adjustment of the microphone, she stepped into the blinding light. The orchestra fell silent. All eyes were on her, their gazes sharp as knives, ready to dissect her performance, to judge her every move. She began her monologue, her voice echoing in the cavernous space. But with each word, the girl faded away, replaced by the character whose story this became her own. She was no longer just a performer seeking approval. She was a vessel through which a powerful narrative flowed. As she delved deeper into the monologue, her movements grew bolder, her gestures more expansive, her voice resonating with newfound strength. In that moment, she wasn't afraid of failure or judgment. She was lost in the story, consumed by the character she had become. Her performance was a journey, a roller coaster of emotions that left the audience breathless. They laughed, gasped, and cried, their reactions fueling her energy. But it was the final moments of the play that truly tested her resolve. Here, the character faced her greatest fear, confronting a truth that threatened to shatter her world. The actress drew upon her own experiences, pulling from the depths of her soul to portray the character's vulnerability. And in that rawness, the audience saw themselves, their hopes, their struggles, their fears. When the monologue ended, there was a pregnant pause, a moment that stretched on forever before the first clap echoed through the theater. Then another clap joined in, growing louder until it became a cacophony of sound. People stood up, their faces flushed, their eyes shining with admiration. They cheered, whistled, and stomped their feet, their applause a physical manifestation of the storm of emotions she had unleashed. Blinking back tears, the actress stepped out of character, the applause washing over her like a warm wave. Bowing deeply, she acknowledged their appreciation. Their cheers fueled her with a surge of adrenaline, a potent mix of accomplishment and elation. The feeling was intoxicating. Later, as the buzz of the crowd gradually faded and the theater emptied, she remained on stage, bathed in the soft glow of the spotlight. In the sudden silence, She heard the echo of her own breathing. The weight of the performance, the intensity of the emotions she had just portrayed, hit her all at once. She sank onto the cold, hard floor, her legs giving way beneath her. The rush of adrenaline ebbed, leaving her shaky and vulnerable. For a moment, she wanted to savor the silence, to bask in the solitude after the storm. But then her phone vibrated in her pocket, pulling her back to reality. With trembling fingers, she checked the message. It was from her agent, his words a stark contrast to the adulation echoing in her ears. "You were good tonight. Maybe not quite what I was hoping for, but good nonetheless. Tomorrow, we have a new monologue to run through. Meet me at 10 a.m. Don't be late." The message ended with a string of emojis, none of which conveyed the disappointment she sensed in his tone. As she read those words, the actress felt a familiar pang of self-doubt creeping into her heart. Despite the standing ovation, despite the lingering cheers, she was not satisfied. The performance hadn't felt right. Something was off, but she couldn't put her finger on it. The joy of the applause was overshadowed by a deep sense of dissatisfaction. It was as if she had given birth to a child without knowing whether it was healthy or whole. That evening, she found herself pacing the familiar streets of the city, her thoughts a jumbled mess of confusion and frustration. As the city lights blurred into streaks of color, she grappled with the unsettling feeling that had taken root in her gut. The performance had gone well, hadn't it? Everyone had loved it. So why was she plagued by doubts? Why did she feel as if she had failed? Suddenly, she stopped in her tracks. She realized that the problem wasn't with the performance itself, but with the reason she had agreed to do it in the first place. To pursue her dreams, she had sacrificed everything: her relationships, her hobbies, her very essence. Her life had become a singular focus, a relentless pursuit of success that left little room for anything else. In that moment of clarity, she understood that her drive had transformed into desperation. She had become a caged bird, trapped by the bars of her own ambition. But as she pondered her situation, a small smile touched her lips. For the first time in a long time, she felt at peace with herself. The performance hadn't been perfect, not because it lacked skill or passion, but because it was born out of necessity, not choice. She had done it for her family, for her friends, for all those who had placed their trust in her. But now she was done. She wouldn't let her thirst for success consume her any further. She refused to sacrifice any more of herself on the altar of ambition. As the night deepened and the city lights twinkled above her, she made a decision. The next morning, she would confront her agent, her voice firm and clear. She would tell him that she needed a break, that she needed to find herself again. She would no longer be a puppet dancing to the tune of someone else's expectations. With newfound determination, she turned toward home, her steps lighter, her heart filled with a sense of liberation. The road ahead might be uncertain, but she was ready to embrace whatever lay in store. She was done being the best at something that didn't bring her joy. From now on, she would live for herself, unapologetically and wholeheartedly. She would discover who she truly was, not who others wanted her to be.